will be placed into GLIP and replay. Typically within about 24 hours, that replay will be available for you. All right. And also, like usual, guys, any questions or anything along those lines, this is your session. By all means, you can use the chat box or you can click to raise your hand if you want to ask a question verbally. So either way works. Okay, let's make sure that everybody has their handsets muted. Let's see, because I am hearing some background. So just making sure, because that can cause some feedback as we get rolling here. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm just going to open up a couple of tabs here to get us ready. Then we'll be ready to share our screen. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about here today, in order to make the most of what we're going to be learning, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that you have a Facebook business page set up. Okay. Now, a Facebook business page is simply what's going to be used for purposes of connecting your ad to. Okay. So in other words, it's not that we're going to be doing a bunch of posts to a business page, but Facebook does require, in order to run the style of ads that we need to run for best results, Facebook does require that they be connected to a business page. All right? So is there anybody here today that does not have a Facebook business page set up? Let me know in the chat box. Is there anybody who does not have a Facebook business page set up? Okay. All right, so I'm getting a couple. Okay, all right, not a problem. So it's quick and easy. It quite literally only takes a couple of minutes. So let's go ahead and show you how to do that now. So the very first thing that we need to do is you can just go and put Facebook fan page, if you like, just right into Google. And the very first link that shows up at the top of your page should be create a page, Facebook. See that there? So I'm going to click here. Now I'm ready to start that process. Okay, so if you look down to the bottom right, what do you see? You see cause and community, or cause or community. And that's typically where we want to set ours up. Is we're typically going to use this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. Okay. Guys, I'm still hearing somebody's got an unmuted handset, and I'm hearing some talking there. So let me see. There we go. That's better. Okay. Nope, still hearing it. So somebody's got an unmuted handset. If you could just click mute for me there, that would be greatly appreciated, because we can hear a lot of background noise. Okay. Now the first thing Facebook's going to want to know from you is what you're going to name this page. So what are we going to name our pages, guys? What's the best way to get the most clicks, to generate the most interest with a business page? What do you guys think we want to name our page? Do we want to name it something in your face, like such and such mortgages? Oops, somebody's saying you can't hear. Okay. All right. Yeah. Is anybody else not able to hear me, or is everybody hearing me just fine? Okay. So it looks like it is coming through loud and clear. Yeah, my mic is up 100%, and I also got GoToWebinar turned up 100%. So it could be your system audio. So if your speakers are working, Janie, it could also be just the settings for system audio, because typically your computer has settings for a couple different ways of handling audio. So I would double check the system audio and make sure that's 100%. Okay. All right. So let me know there. All right. So we're going to name our page here something that is very specific to the area that we want to target. So let's say, for example, I want to market in Atlanta. Okay. So I'm going after loans in Atlanta. Then here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so here's one example. Atlanta home buyer and seller tips. Now, why am I going after something like this? What am I... okay, so yes, I still got some people here with unmuted handsets. If you guys could please mute your handsets. Still getting background noise here. All right, Atlanta home buyer and seller tips. Now we can modify this to a couple different degrees. So let's do some variations of this. Let's say I want to do home buyer help, for example. The word help, when you look at it from the mindset of somebody who's going through that house buying process, that's kind of a nice word to run across, as opposed to something that sounds salesy or sounds like it's marketing. But this sounds like a more helpful style page. Let's modify that. Here's another variation. And guys, there's nothing wrong with having more than one fan page. Just keep that part in mind too. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having more than one. So if you already have a Facebook fan page, but you're thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? I'd really like to, give this one a shot here. Set up a community style page where I'm coming across as a more helpful style page specifically for home buyers. Then by all means, set it up because it only takes a few minutes. Okay, so does this make sense to everybody so far? Pretty simple, isn't it? So help for Atlanta home buyers. I'm going to go ahead and click Get Started. So let's let Facebook do its thing. And boom. All right, so I have a page here, but it's an empty page. So let me show you guys a couple of tips on where I can get my images, because I do need to add an avatar image over on the left where it says add a picture. And then you can see at the top center where it says add a cover. I need to get that squared away as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up a fresh Google tab. Let me minimize a couple of things here, and I'll be right back. There we go. Okay, so I just had to close out some extra tabs here because I have way too many of them open. All right, so whenever you need good images and you want to do it legally, guys, let's not steal images. Just go to Google Images and grab pictures. That's becoming more and more people getting in trouble for that. And it's anywhere from $5,000 per offense and up. I personally know individuals who got sued for over 25 grand for just having a couple pictures on a blog that they just grabbed off of Google Images, just saved it and thought they could use it for free. You cannot, guys. That is theft. It really is. You can't just take pictures that you like and throw them on your website. That is illegal. It's becoming easier and easier for the creators of those images to track people down. Now you have machine learning where these people who create these images, they go to a website and all they have to do is upload the pictures of their images, and this software, these bots, will spend the next couple of hours crawling the entire internet, and it knows what that picture looks like, and it's just looking for all the sites that have that picture on it, and then it collects that information and feeds it back to them, so now they can just send that over to their attorney or whoever it is they're using to spearhead that project, and then all those people get cease and desist orders with fines attached to them because they know, hey, you're using this without my legal permission. So just don't do it. And I know so many loan officers say, I know that, but about 90% of the mortgage websites I look at out there are doing just that. 90% of them. No exaggeration, guys. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Just go here to a website, pixabay.com. All the images here come with commercial attribution, meaning that, yes, it's legal for you to use them. So I can come in here and I can do, let's see, for example, let's say house. Okay, and it's going to bring up, now these top images here are images that you have to buy. These are just ads. Okay, you can see how they have watermarks on them that say Shutterstock. But everything below that line, these are all legal images. And some of them are really, really nice. Here's a nice ultra-modern home. And if I don't find, and just so you know, there's a lot of pictures on here. So I got 179 pages worth of pics just for the word house. let's say I wanted to do something a little bit different. Let me just do this, real estate. Okay. There we go. Here's a nice one right here. So if I want this image, I just click on it. And I can either click here to do a free download, or I can even just right-click and save image as and save it to my computer. Either way will do. So I can just click the download button or just right-click and save it. So either way, you can see it's a free download, and it even has right here, free for commercial use, no attribution required. That's what you want to see. Awesome. Now I know I'm in the clear. I don't have to worry or sweat that I'm going to get hit up with a bunch of expensive fines and be sued and all this crap. That is becoming more and more common. Okay, so just save yourself the headaches and the money. So this is where I would grab an image. I want to keep it real estate related. Now keep in mind this is going to be a thumbnail when I make my posts, or when I run my ads, and then I'm going to need something for a cover image as well. So if I'm doing Atlanta, then I might look for something that is indicative of Atlanta. I don't know if I'm going to find it on here or not. There we go. There's an Atlanta skyline right there. That would do. There's another one right there, but I might look for something that's a little more upbeat as opposed to the dark nightlife. There we go. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. So let me just show you guys the process. We would do the exact same thing. Just for the sake of argument, I'm just going to click on the nearest picture here. But what I want to look at here is make sure it's large enough. This is definitely large enough. Gives you your keywords up top. So I do know this is Atlanta, Georgia. I'm ready to use it. And when I am ready to use it, all I got to do is click this add cover image, and then I'll click the save button when I'm done. And that's it, guys. I now have my Facebook fan page set up once I've done this. You don't need anything fancy. Don't spend a bunch of time on it. You should have this hammered out inside of 6 to 7 minutes max. Should be very quick and simple because, again, we're not going to do a whole lot with it just yet. We're only going to use it as a platform to deploy our ads off of. So any questions on this before I move on? No such thing as a bad question, guys. So if you feel uncertain about something, now is definitely the time to let me know. I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving anybody behind with questions, with unanswered questions before I move on. So I'm going to give you a moment that if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and pop it in the chat box. All right. Okay, so no questions. Everything makes sense. Do you guys understand the process, what we're going for here? Now, one thing I want to throw out there is another really, really good reason for setting up these pages with the title that I mentioned is there's also the SEO standpoint from a Facebook perspective. And that is, keep in mind that a lot of people will actually run across your fan page by searching up here. So if I put Atlanta homes, you know, this is where I'm going to get all these different keywords, right? So when I click this search button, this is what people do. So when they're looking for answers to their questions, see, I can actually look specifically for pages or groups. And when you put in those keywords, such as Atlanta homebuyers help, Facebook's going to show yours at the top when individuals start searching, as long as it's well optimized. So that's what I'm looking for, is I want to make sure that I'm showing more towards the top. That way I'm getting free traffic of people that are house shopping or looking for those keywords. Okay, so Taya's asking, Chad, can it be changed to a community page if I have a page already, or is it best to just set up a new one? Yeah, I would probably just set up a new one at that point. And here's why. Basically, if you try to change the structure of an existing fan page, it can take the better part of a week for Facebook to approve it, and there's no guarantee that they'll even approve it, right? So it's often best, just because it only takes 5 to 7 minutes, just to set up a fresh page, and then you're naming it right out of the gate. You're naming it right out of the gate what you want. Does it matter if the page has likes or posts on it yet? No, that does not matter, because we're doing ads. So at this point, that absolutely does not matter. So you're in the clear there with a brand new fresh page. All right. Awesome. 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 So good question. So wonderful. Like I said, guys, no point moving forward with question marks in your head. So definitely pop them in if I missed anything or if you feel uncomfortable about anything. Right? Chad, will Facebook deny the page if someone else has the same business page? Um, yeah, they won't let you name it the exact same thing. There will have to be at least a subtle difference, right? And here's why, is because that becomes your URL. That'll become the web address of your new page. So you can't have two pages with the same URL. So let's say, and here's the thing, let's say that happens. Let's say that you're setting up a page and Facebook says, oh, hey, somebody already has Atlanta home buyers help. Well, then all I got to do is just throw in some small variations of that and see which one's not taken yet. And since you don't have a whole lot of loan officers doing this, it should be pretty easy to find a page name that's not being used. So I might throw out there, oh, let's say Atlanta Homebuyers Help is taken. Then Atlanta Homebuyers Help and Tips, or home buying help and tips, or home buying tips. Just throw different variations out there. Just adding a word or two or moving a word or two around can make a difference. And boom, now you get yourself a page with your keywords in it. Janie, the type of page you want to create is the bottom right option. When you're looking at that pages option, you're going to see where it says community pages. That's the style you want to go for. Okay. And the reason for that is because you want to focus primarily on a single area, a single community. And let me clear that up. I just want to be 100% clear on this, guys, because I'm surprised I'm not being asked more questions about this, because this is usually where I get flooded with questions where loan officers say, hey, Chad, you know what? I'm in a small town or I'm in a small city. If I name it such and such, home buying tips, that's just not a big enough area for me to get a lot of leads from, so what do I do? Well, if that's the case, there's nothing wrong with targeting a county, for example. Okay, so let's say you're in a small city, but that city is within a county that has 6 other cities. So let's say you only have 40, 50,000 people in your target city, but within the county you might have 500,000 people or 600,000 people or whatever the case may be. Nothing wrong with that. The general rule of thumb here, is to think about it from the standpoint of what people self-identify with. If you recall, if we jump back even to the original webinar where I first started talking about this, what did I say? What was a big part of that original webinar? Well, it was that people respond better when they self-identify with something, when they see something and say, oh, hey, that's me, right? Because there's so much garbage out there that we're in information overload mode that the brain just naturally filters out things that are irrelevant. Okay, like, see, I'm even looking at these trending topics on Facebook. Okay, this is Facebook news essentially. Most of the stuff, unless I actually stop and take a moment to specifically look at these headlines, I couldn't tell you what any of them say because none of them jump out at me. But let's say one of them says, oh, huge fire in St. Louis. Well, since I'm in St. Louis County, it's going to jump out at me. I'm going to go, oh, hey, what the heck just happened in St. Louis? I'm not in danger of the fire because, that's still, 20 miles away from me. But it's still relevant to me. My eyeballs still look at it because I know, hey, I live in St. Louis. This might be relevant. So I want to see what it says. If nothing else, it just attracts the eyeballs. So keep that in mind. So what do people who are house shopping in your marketplace, what do they self-identify with? One other thing I could tell you is that even people who don't technically live in St. Louis, they still tell everyone they live in St. Louis if they're nearby, if they're within that 5 to 10 mile radius, or they're outside that metropolitan area, or they're in a different city but still within St. Louis County, they still put on their profiles that they live in St. Louis. They still tell people that they live in St. Louis because that's the biggest, city within, X amount of miles radius. So that's the one most people are familiar with. So they just throw it out there, St. Louis, because that's where everything's happening. That's usually where they go to the restaurants, the big events and whatnot. So think about it from that standpoint. All right. Okay, so we're done with that. One last opportunity that if you have any questions, shoot it over to me now. If not, I'm about to shift gears. We're going to move to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for just a short period of time to give you opportunities to type if you're typing up a question. And if not, I'm going to move on here in about 20 seconds. Okay. All right. Okay, 20 seconds up. Let's move on. So once you have your page set up, and I just want to be clear, your page is set up just for the simple fact that Facebook requires it in order to run the ads that we're going to be running. And it looks like a question did come over. Chad, can you look at our Facebook pages when we're done? Absolutely. Absolutely, Peter. Yeah, that. In fact, guys, feel free to shoot it over to me on Glip. Now, is everybody clear on how to send me messages on Glip? Direct messages as opposed to public messages? Or do you guys want me to go over that real quick? Is anybody unclear as to the best way to use Glip and reach out to me? Okay, hey, not a problem at all. So let me head on over to Glip real quick because I just want you guys to be 100% clear on this. When we're on Glip, and when you first log in, you see this up here at the top, Facebook Ads Mastermind Elite. Down here is where you type messages. But keep in mind, any messages that you type here is going to be seen by everyone. Okay, so you just type out your message and press the enter button. This is to send a public message. If you want to send a message that only I see, just click on, you're going to see my name up here at the top right, this little chicklet of me. See that little avatar? So if you were to click on my name, for example, if I click on some of your guys' names, if I just hover over it and I click on it, it gives me an option to send a direct message. Okay? So just click on it and you'll have a window pop up. But your window, since obviously I am Chad Weber, it's just giving me an edit profile button. But if this were not me and I was clicking on it, then there would be an option to send a message, to start a conversation. And that's how you send something directly over to me. Okay? So just click on my name and that's where you'll see all the options. But again, anything you type down here is, if you don't mind, the public. And for most questions, that's great. That's fine. Because, hey, if you're asking a question, oftentimes if you have that question, there's at least, a handful of other people that have that same question too. Okay, so nothing wrong with the public questions. I recommend it. But if you have something that you only need me to see, then boom, click on my name. I'll take care of you. All right. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's move on now. So when you're ready to run an ad, guys, and that's what we're going to do here today, is I want you to click this little drop down up at the top right. When you're logged into Facebook, you have this little downward facing arrow. When I click this downward facing arrow, I have an option to manage ads or create ads, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that now. And it's opening up. And then I have this green button at the top right that says create an ad. So create ad. And that brings me to this main page. So once again, all I did was I clicked the downward facing arrow and I was presented with the options to either manage ads or create ads. You can just go straight to create ads if you like. And then from there, I clicked the green button to create an ad when I was in my ads manager. Okay. So I'm going to do a traffic style ad, which is my top option at the top center. Boom. Now we give it a name. So we just kind of scroll down a little bit to get here. You see this is where I give it a name. Now there's 3 styles of ads that you're going to have an option to run here today. And we're kicking things off. Keep in mind your very first ad is what I call toe in the water ad. And a toe in the water ad is we take an ad that we know is working almost universally, because we want to take the temperature of your market and see how well they're responding as compared to the rest of the USA, because some markets are pretty much like carbon copies and clones of each other, and then sometimes you run into markets where it's like, hey, my market is very, very different from everyone else's. So by running this first ad using well-known, ultra-high producing ad copy that we know works pretty much universally, it's allowing us to do a comparison and say, okay, now I'm getting a better understanding of what your market is and is not responding to, if they're typical or atypical. Okay. So there are 3 styles of ads that you can run to kick off your very first ad. And keep in mind, each week we're going to be running new ads, new niches, and all that fun stuff. But do you guys remember on the webinar a couple of weeks ago where I was showing the crazy results? You know, some guys getting 13%, some getting 18, some even getting 20% plus lead capture conversion. Well, all of those screenshots that I showed you with all those leads being captured, all of them were making use of at least one of the ads that we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to show you the same types of ads that were generating those results. And that's 3 niches right now that are pulling just crazy, crazy well. Number 1, self-employed loans. So if you can hit that niche, guys, for self-employed borrowers, really, really hot right now. Absolutely smoking hot right now. Just capturing huge amounts of leads, very, very good quality leads. I love that niche. So if you have any self-employed products, low doc, no doc, anything along those lines, those guys are just eating it up right now. So that's a good niche. Niche option number 2 is low and or no down payment home loans. Those work almost everywhere. Now, a lot of loan officers will scoff at this when I bring this up and say, oh, you know what, that gives me all the crap leads of people who don't have any money. But let me dispute that for a moment, guys. Now, and remember, I'm speaking, this is coming from a guy who's run well over $1 million worth of loans, or worth of ads, as far as PPC costs on Facebook. Well over $1 million, probably closer to 2 mil at this point. And I can tell you that that's a big assumption. That may sound like it makes a lot of sense, but let me ask you this question. Do people who have a good income, do they like paying high down payments any more so than the people who have low income? No, they don't. So if you're worried about capturing leads that just don't have any money, you can still run this call to action, but just modify it by clicking your filter to only have people earning X amount of dollars a year to see the ad. So filter out all the low income folks, target the guys earning 100,000 plus a year. Those guys respond just as well to these ads as the low income folks. A lot of those guys are financially leveraged to the hilt. So they or have a lot of debt or have very little in liquid assets. It's all tied up in, you know, investments and other projects they have going on. So why not take advantage of the fact that everybody seems to respond very well to this ad, no matter what state we run it in. And if you're careful with who you target, you're still going to get people who have money and can afford a down payment, even if their credit doesn't support a 0 down. You know, or if they're not a veteran or going in a USDA area, you know, wherever it is that you're getting your low or no down payment home loan options. So that's another one. A third niche is just more generalized, and that is how much home can I afford and qualify for? So it's kind of going right for the jugular. And with that, it's more general purchase. Okay, so it's not really niched out. Instead, we're casting a wide net, and with that ad, we're just trying to target individuals who have a lot of question marks in their heads. They know they want to buy a house, but they have concerns and questions that they need the answers to. So they respond to these ads and to these landing pages. But again, you're not going to capture as many leads as the others, most likely, when you do a how much can I qualify for style ad. But you do tend to get some pretty good leads because these individuals are specifically responding because they know they're buying a house. You know, they probably don't fall in any of one of these niche products, you know. They're not as likely to be, you know, a veteran or active duty So we're giving them an alternative call to action. But I've captured a lot of good leads with that one too. So all three of these can be a complete home run for you. And as we go along, we're going to do things like hit, some Govy products like VA, because I know some of you guys on your forms you submitted to me, are targeting VA. And Tammy, I see you mentioning testing and ad series with the new Fannie Mae DTI limit. So yeah, those are all things that we can, target as we go along. So, but what we're doing here today is toe dipping. We're dipping our toe in the water to test the temperature of your marketplace as it sets right now. Okay, so all great questions, guys. So hopefully that makes sense to you here. So what niche? Why don't you guys let me know in the chat box? Out of the three niches that I brought up, which one appeals to you? Just let me know in the chat box. Now I'm just kind of getting an idea of what you guys. Again, it was self-employed, low or no down payment, or what do I qualify for? How much home can I afford? So I'm just reading the responses here. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to start. We're going to start with the top one here. I'm going to show you guys how to run each one. Okay. So regardless of the responses, I'm still going to show you guys how to run each three of these ads. But I just needed to know what to start with here. But I'm going to give you ad copy for all of them, so you don't have to guess for any of them. So it seems like the low down payment one seems to be the most popular that most folks said they would probably run. So let's start with that. Okay. So right down here where it's asking for my campaign name, I'm just going to go ahead and pop it in here. So I just gave it a name and clicked to submit. Now I'm ready. Okay. Yeah, Taya, yeah, in your market, but I'll definitely be covering the others as well. So you don't have to worry about being left out here because I'm going to show the ad copy on the others as well. So I'm just going after the one that was most voted on. But yeah, we have your more general purchase might make sense for your marketplace. Okay, so here I'm going to just put in my target age brackets. So let's say I'm going after 34. Let me toggle this 65 down. So I did 34 through 48. I've been using Atlanta. So there we go, Atlanta, Georgia. And I can look up at the right here and see that there's 1.2 million people that meet this criteria within a 25-mile radius. Now, if I'm in a market where I just am not getting critical mass, I can take the slider and bump it up to 50 miles, to a 50-mile radius. Okay, so that gave me another 200,000, I believe. Okay, so I put any targets that I want in here. Instead of everyone in this location, don't forget to click your drop-down box. I want to do people who live in this location. Awesome. Now I'm going to scroll down. All right. Now I want to do my targeting. See where it says detailed targeting? So I'm going to do I just put the word first time home. Look what that brought up. First time home buyer. Whenever you bring something up in your detailed targeting box, always look over to the right to see if it's listed as an interest or something else. Because there are certain circumstances where I do not want to target interests, and then there's circumstances where I do. But for first-time home buyer, I'm specifically looking for the one that says demographic, okay? Because that's almost 29 million people nationwide that fall in that category of very, very likely first-time home buyers, okay? But now that I've entered that, I do see other options here, such as buying a house that's listed as an interest. Okay, so I can click on that. House hunting, new home. Just gonna keep on going. It's up to you if you want to go after renters or not. This is ideal if you're going after first-time homebuyers, then yes, we can most definitely go after renters. My recommendation, guys, if you're going after renters, is to go after those with a higher income. Because people who are paying a lot of money on their rent, at some point they're going to ask themselves like, holy crap, why am I just flushing my money down the drain like this? This is nuts, right? So I want somebody who can actually afford a home if they're renting. And you're going to find a good portion of those folks are not open to the idea yet because they're on such a low income. So let's go after the folks that do have higher income, right? So I'm going to add things like realtor.com, interest, Trulia, homes.com, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see I'm just throwing them all in. And I can see them stacking up here, and I can always check right over here on the far right. I have 430,000 people targeted. That's my potential reach. Okay. Generally speaking, even if you're in a small town, you can still get your numbers up pretty well. Janie, what is the goal number to reach? Well, depending on how tight your niche is, if I'm just doing general purchase, I want to see a minimum of 50,000. I'd like to see more for scalability purposes. I definitely try to get it into the hundreds of thousands if I can, but it's not critical. My critical number is if I'm only going after casting a wide net, then I want to see around 40, 50,000 people minimum. That makes sense? So I could see other things here, if I wanted to go back through and just keep adding to it. Let me point out another feature for you. Here's another feature. See where this says narrow audience? I want you guys to understand what this is, because keep in mind, up until now, I've been putting what I've been searching for here in this box. Oh, another one, guys, is here's interest in first-time buyers, interest in starter homes, new house, new home, blah, blah, blah. But there are other items in here. So I believe there's one that's for home buyer grant, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, first time home buyer grant, that's yet another interest. Specifically, if you're looking for people who go after low down payment, folks that would be interested in apply for that grant are probably the same types of folks that would be an ideal prospect for you, provided you can help them. Okay. All right, but what this secondary box is for is if I want to stack what I'm targeting. So let's say, for example, up here on top it says, well, I'm going after people who are buying a house and who are house hunting. But let's say I wanted to tell Facebook that I wanted to go after people who are buying a home plus have a minimum income of $75,000 a year. Well, then that's when I use the narrow audience feature, because it stacks the interest as a plus as opposed to an and or. See, because here, everything that falls in this box, when I run an ad, Facebook views it as what? Oh, there we go. Excellent. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm getting it's kind of freezing up on me. Why is that freezing up on me? Give me just a moment. My apologies. I'm running into some, getting a notice from GoToWebinar telling me that. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's back. My apologies. Yeah, I had a screen freeze there for just a moment. All right. So does that make sense on how we stack our targets? So instead of saying, hey, somebody who's buying a house or somebody who is earning, $100,000 or more a year, when I click on that option of narrowing audience, it's saying, hey, they have to meet both of these criteria. So everything I put up here plus whatever I put in this box. So if I put income, let's say right here, 100,000 through 124,000. Okay, that's what I'm doing is I'm stacking that when I'm narrowing it down. Okay, awesome. There we go. I'm sorry, I had my cursor in the wrong box there. Here it is, right here. It says must also match at least one of the following. So this is where I'd put my income, right here. Make sure you put it in the right box. There we go. So it should be in a separate box. If you accidentally click on the wrong thing like I did, just come up here and click the little X to remove it from the top box and add it to the bottom box where it says must also match at least one of the following. Okay. Then I'm ready to exclude people. Now remember guys, when I'm excluding people, I'm mostly doing loan officers. Okay. So just go after the different words, titles that they tend to go by. Do not click on interests. See how all these on the right hand side say interests? I'm going to start off with mortgage broker and job title. Right here, job titles. Boom, got them. So I got mortgage broker, I got mortgage banker, or mortgage bank. There it is, mortgage banker, job title right here. Even after telling me there was no such thing, I did find it. I'm going to do loan officer. Again, job title. I could see that I got a bunch more right here. I got senior loan officer and then another variant, fully spelled out senior loan officer. Again, I'm doing job titles. I can also do specific mortgage companies if I want to. So let's say, for example, I wanted to target any loan officers working at Movement Mortgage, for example. Okay, see how it says employers right here? Boom. Now I would just type out the name of the company. Anybody that has that company listed as their employer is going to be blocked from seeing the ad. So I want to fill that up with mortgage-related job titles, so that way I'm not paying for my competition's education. You can also do the real estate side. Some people say, yes, I do that all the time now. Others say, no, I want realtors to see my stuff. It's entirely up to you if you want to go that route or not. But see how I got job title plus employer plus field of study, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I got multiple job titles. There's licensed realtor. Boom. So just go down and add as many of those as you can. Make sense? I'm just going to pause here for any questions. All right, so I'm not seeing any questions coming over, so I'm going to assume that means we're ready to move on. To save yourself some time, you can always click Save This Audience, so that way next time that you deploy an ad like this, you will not have to go through this process every single time. If you save it as a custom audience, you can just choose from a drop-down box. Oh yeah, I'm doing my low down payment target today. You just choose it from a drop-down box, boom, and it'll apply all of these. Janie, Chad, can you edit the list in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely. You certainly can. When you go to grab a custom audience and preload it, Facebook always gives you an option to edit it. So yes, you can go in and change whatever you need to. All right? But again, save the audience. Now placements. Now this one's very important. There we go. So by default, Facebook typically has automatic placements recommended. I want to do edit, and I'm going to uncheck my audience network. I'm going to uncheck my Instagram. Now you will notice that that will have a negative impact on my potential reach. Okay, I'm down to just 74,000 people targeted. But let me tell you, would I rather a more targeted audience but smaller, or would I prefer a larger audience but less targeted? Well, I almost always go for more targeted rather than less. Okay. So I'm going to keep on scrolling. My daily budget, when I'm just getting started, I usually do between 25 and 30 bucks. I'm going to click to set a start and end date. I'm going to go ahead and start it today. I'm fine with that. But I can see here for my end date, Facebook's assuming that I'm perfectly fine with running this thing for a whole freaking month. No way, dudes. I'm going to click right here. I'm going to bump this back to June. And I'm going to run this through, let's say, Tuesday. And I'm going to do it Tuesday night. Now, always look for that little tiny font text underneath your edit box. Why am I looking for that? That's right. I'm looking at that because this tells me what time zone my Facebook ad server is operating in, so Pacific time. So I know now that if I tell this to stop at 11:47, it's going to stop at 11:47 Pacific time. So we always want to be aware of that, because I've seen a lot of loan officers forget to modify the times they put in here based off of what time zone the server's in. Now, for most of you, you should be in the same time zone that you're doing business in, that your account is in, but that is not always the case. Okay, so that's why we check. Okay, I see some questions coming over. Peter's asking, Chad, are there specific hours we should run the ads? Likely, yes, but we're not doing it just yet. Let me explain why. Because if what you're describing there, the terminology for that is day parting. Day parting is when you run paid ads, but you tell the system to show the ads during certain specific time periods throughout the day and to shut them off during other times of the day. You know, what we call dead zones. The reason we're not doing that today is because we would just be guessing, because every person's market is a little bit different. You know, if I started telling you what times a day are good and bad, you know, it would just be like rolling dice or throwing darts at a dartboard. And I'm really bad at darts, so wouldn't be doing you any favors. And the reason we can't answer that is because every market has its own little nuances and idiosyncrasies. So what we do, since this is a dip the toe in the ad or dip a toe in the water style ad, we're going to take the metrics and we're going to look and see how well the ads performed at different time points throughout the day. And then from there, we're going to be able to draw conclusions and base the answers on facts as opposed to just, trying to seem like I know more than I really do. Because in this case, nobody can tell you, unless they're running ads right here, right now in that exact city with that exact demographic, nobody can tell you. If they're telling you they can, then definitely not being upfront with you. Okay. Tammy, yeah, we haven't gotten to the part yet of where we send the traffic anywhere. So yeah, we haven't done that part just yet, but we're getting close. Okay. All right. So right now we picked out our start date and our end date and our time frames. Now I'm going to click to continue. So you can see here how all my pages are pretty much related to helping as opposed to just being blatant sales pitches. All right. I'm just scrolling through the questions again, guys. Okay, good deal. So it looks like I'm caught up. All right, so I primarily want to do a single image style ad. So let's go ahead and scroll down. We're going to click on free stock images. Now what I want to do here, put in the keyword house. I want to grab, and keep in mind your images can mean the difference between a huge home run and grand slam levels of success, or it could completely cripple the entire campaign because it's the image that attracts people's attention first. So I start off with relevant images. And I want to grab images that are really going to jump out at them and maybe even evoke some emotions. And when I'm grabbing pictures, I want to mix it up different times of day too. If we only go for bunny blue skies, at some point that's going to blend in with the background. So I kind of toggle things up a bit here. Different times of day. So see, like this one right here, that's not a bunny blue sky. In fact, we can already tell, hey, the sun's recently gone down. So I might try that one. Think about the colors and contrasts on Facebook, right? How are they going to appear? What are they going to stand out? Because Facebook's colors are what? Blue, white, and black for text. So what colors are really going to pop off the page? One thing that I like to do is when I'm scrolling from one page to the next here and looking at my images, I will scroll down quickly and then just staring at the screen, not trying to look at anything in particular, I'll then ask myself, hey, what are my eyes looking at right now? That's what's going to help me pick images that really, really pop off the screen. How many pictures? Okay, yeah, we generally want to grab 5 or 6 images. What I like to do generally is I'll grab 3 or 4 house images, but then I can go for more conceptual at that point. Like see, I got some images that are very related to the mortgage industry. If I want to grab any of them, I can. And then I click done when I've grabbed however many pictures I want to run. Generally, I just go for all 6 of them right out of the gate, and then I start narrowing things down from there. Okay, next I need my web address. So each one of you folks, I've created URLs for landing pages, dynamic style landing pages. So I'm going to be sending those over to you. I could send those to you on Glip if you like. All right, perfect. Okay, so let me grab this URL. Okay, so here's an example of your initial dynamic form that we're going to be using. So we can see it's very clean and very simple. We found that very, very simple, clean-looking pages are converting best right now as opposed to the overly complex-looking pages. And we have a dynamic style form. So watch this. When I click yes, I start getting these interactive questions that scrolls through and gives me fun ways to answer these questions one at a time. All right. And then we start doing email, phone, blah, blah, blah. So a very simple way to capture name, email, phone number, how much they're willing to spend, all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's the link I'm going to give you guys. Each one of you has your own unique link, and I'm going to glip that over to you so you can pop that in there. Yes, this is definitely phone friendly and tablet friendly. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm just going to paste that where it asks for my website URL. And awesome sauce. Okay. Now we're ready. If you put your website URL in here, now again, I'll be sending those over to you guys immediately following today's call. So you got multiple. Now I'm ready to move on to my headline. So let me go grab my headline. I'm going to actually open this up for you guys so that you can see this. There we go. Got my headline. Now you can see what I put in here is whenever you can get away with symbols and things along those lines that really stand out, for example, the dollar sign, it really pops out and it makes people want to read that headline. Should we use a vanity URL? Not just yet. Tammy, if you really want to use one, then these forms can be connected to, absolutely. But with your first toe in the water, nothing. You don't need to get fancy with it just yet. But if somebody does have something set up that you want it connected to, it could definitely be connected to a URL or a WordPress website or inserted, embedded into a traditional HTML page. Definitely something that, and it's pretty easy to do as well. Okay, so it's not difficult. All right, so I'm building out my ad here. Let's put my ad copy. So I got my headline in there. Now I'm ready for the ad body. There we are. All right. So here's your ad copy. And again, I'm going to paste all the ad copy directly into Glip too for you guys. So you can just copy and paste into Facebook if you want, or you can just type it out here by looking at your screen and seeing what I put in here. So here I just put this little underscore, this blank space, because again, I want you to make your ads relevant. I cannot repeat that enough. They got to be relevant. Relevance, relevance, relevance. That's what makes people take action. So while different, oh, there we go. Yeah, different niches and different targets, really the one thing that they all have in common is that they're all going to respond better when you're hyper relevant. So put your home city, hometown, neighborhood, whatever the case may be, right there in that large blank space. Okay, I'm also going to grab this. Don't like the way that pasted. There we go. Just had this goofy white space just randomly inserted, but I took care of it. Okay, I'm seeing more questions coming over. Oh, okay, gotcha. Absolutely, no problem, Timmy. Boom. Now I'm ready for my newsfeed link description. So this is this is the text that shows up underneath. So that's underneath your image in your ad. Grabbing that text right now, copying. I'll be ready to paste here in just a moment. There we go. Boom. So see how the ad is structured? I got my, up top is my main ad body text, and then down bottom is my secondary text. For your very first ad, you're ready to place your order now. That's it. Straightforward, simple, gets people to take action. Now, the loan process or the lead capture process is that once they fill out that lead capture form, that dynamic form that I showed you, it's instantly going to be emailed over to you. So you're going to get all the answers included inside that email, so you know everything that they told to the page, essentially. Follow up on those leads, guys, ASAP. That's my word of advice. Follow up. Hit well or strike while the iron is hot, so to speak. All right. So you see how simple it was? Now we're going to place different ad structures as well. This is a traffic ad structure, but as we go along through the mastermind, I'm going to show you the other ad structures too. This one's pretty straightforward and very, very easy, as you can see. But if you need to watch the replay, I will be making that available as soon as that recording is done transitioning. There we are. Okay, I can't get that to minimize. There we go, finally. Okay, so I left that up for as long as I can on the screen. Now let's do another ad. Now, when we're doing another ad, guys, we don't need to go through the first steps anymore because we got that on video. All we're going to focus on is actually creating the ad itself. So this is the ad copy. Okay. All right. So here's a question that just came over. So Chad, who can see the web pages we create? Let me make sure I understand what you're talking about there. Oh, Chad, when we watch the replay, can we pause while building ads in the website? Absolutely, Peter. You certainly can. I'm going to give it to you as an unlisted YouTube replay. So it's unlisted. So guys, don't give out the URL because unlisted means no one else can see it but people that we're giving access to. So don't spread that around. This is your mastermind. If you spread it around, you create competition. Okay. So I mean, you can pause it and watch it as many times as you like for as long as you like. Janie, who can see the web pages we create? Are you talking about your Facebook fan pages or are you talking about landing pages? I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the question. Okay, fan pages. All right. So yeah, I think I understand what you're asking there. Fan pages, they are searchable within the Facebook search, and they are search engine friendly with Google. So anybody who is specifically looking for those keywords will probably have an option to open your page. And then with it being attached to your ad campaign, whoever it is that you targeted naturally will be able to see it as well. Yes, absolutely, Taya. So yeah, basically we're going to be giving you all sorts of different types of landing pages as we go along. But if you need to tweak anything for compliance purposes, then yeah, you can send that directly over to us through Glip and we can add your disclosures and disclaimers on there. Or if you want to embed it on, if you have, for example, an HTML-based or WordPress-based website, we can embed them onto that URL so that way you can add any disclosures to the header or footer of that site as well. Okay, so many options there. Or you can just shoot over to us, hey, here's what I need on there. Can you add this for me, please? All right, so like I said, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible so you guys don't have to screw around with a bunch of technical stuff. So yeah, if you just want to send that over to me, what your requirements are, I'll make sure that it gets added for you ASAP. All right, I'm here to help you every step of the way because I want you guys to hit a home run with this. We've been pulling just an insane amount of leads right now with these very same ads. All right, so let's look at niche number 2. We're going to step away from the low down payment options. Now we're stepping out to how much home can I afford? All right, so let me grab my headline. I would probably do similar images for this ad, but here's the headline. So I'm just going to replace this with, boom. Now what I would probably do in this headline though, guys, the loan officers that are getting the best results is also put the target market because again, it's just having that word in there, that city name in there, that tends to attract the eyeball. Okay, so let me grab the rest of that. Now I need my ad body text. Here we go. It's not letting me highlight and just get rid of all of it. There we go. Facebook, you drive me nuts sometimes. There we go. Now, the reason why some of these ads look a little wordy is think of them as more like advertorials. Sometimes they do look a little wordy, but it gives you more real estate and that it's a larger space occupied. There's a bigger chance that you're going to say something that grabs their attention. And it's, again, just kind of like an advertorial. It seems less like an ad when we're actually saying a whole lot, even if it's just in a single block. Okay. All right, so now I need the text for, as I scroll down a little bit, for my newsfeed link description. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that right now as well. Got it. Boom. There we go. And again, sometimes you might have to fix this a little bit because it doesn't always transfer over well from copy and paste. But looks like it wasn't too bad. Pausing for questions here, guys. Now I'm going to make sure that I swap this out with my other landing page. And yeah, on Glip, guys, just tell me what niches you want to go after. So here's my landing page for prospective home buyers. So this is the find out how much you can afford and qualify for landing page. You can see I'm following a very simple layout. Again, just like the first one, I have no need to change it around every single time because when it works, it works. Why screw with it and risk it not working as well when it's already just hitting an absolute home run? So very simple, very straightforward. Just going to go ahead and add that link to Facebook. Boom. I'm ready to rock. Okay, Chad, how would you recommend that we partner with realtors? Okay, so good question. There's a couple different ways to do that, Tammy. Mostly, and we're going to do a whole training on realtors, by the way. So I'm going to give you guys a comprehensive way to work hand in hand with realtors utilizing this strategy. But for right now, for your first ad, I wouldn't really do anything with agents just yet because you want to be on top of your game when you do approach them, right? So let's first make sure that you get results that are duplicatable into your back pocket so that when you are ready to work with realtors, that you basically come out smelling like a rose every time, so to speak. Okay? So that's the best advice I can give you at the moment is we are going to go over that and we're going to give you a comprehensive plan for targeting realtors, but first let's get our results and make sure you can duplicate it in your market before we start messing around with realtors, because realtors are all about results, right? If we say, okay, yeah, let's shake hands on it, let's do business together, blah, 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 and then they don't see anything for the next 3 to 4 weeks because, hey, you know what, I'm trying to rush and get all these things set up. Well, we kind of messed that up then, didn't we? We're not going to typically get a second chance. So that's why I make sure I get the results first, then realtors second. Okay, why did you spend the daily, or why did you choose the daily spend amount that you did? That just tends to be what I see most, kind of average. Okay, when I look at loan officers who are doing ads on Facebook, typically, they're comfortable spending around 20, 25 bucks a day, just so long as that's not every single day, is what most loan officers will say they're comfortable spending. So I put mine, generally I'll put them most of the time around 30 and maybe 35. It just depends on what my costs are on a per click basis. But you'll know that once you turn your ads on pretty quickly, so that can be modified. All right, perfect. Okay, so any questions on this ad type, and then we'll move on to our third. See some more questions coming over. Yes, Janie, absolutely. Before you actually publish your ads, just you can send it on, take the screenshots and send them on over to me on Glip, or you can set me up as an admin on your account too. And Taya, Chad, do you show us afterwards when we have our metrics to look at what to look for? Absolutely. That's one of the first things we're going to do, in fact. So absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. Okay, so now we're going to go for the self-employed niche. So here's the headline for self-employment niche. This is one where I'm just seeing really, really nice closing rates right now. If you can go after this niche, I really recommend that you do. The leads, a lot of these guys have it stuck in their head that they can't get these types of loans anymore. And they remember the quote-unquote good old days. All right, so finally a simple home loan solution for the self-employed. Okay, I got my headline up there. Okay, just pause that. Grabbing my ad copy. There we are. Let's make sure that'll fit. Okay. Finally, my news feed link description. Almost there, grabbing that. And then we shall be done with that. This one just doesn't want to copy, does it? Boom. Okay, so this one ran a little bit over. Okay, well, no, I think I'm still good there. Okay. Oh, that's why. I pasted it in the, sorry about that. There we are. Simple, simple. Okay, so you've seen the ad copy. So now what happens next, guys, is here's what I want to happen. Is over on Glip, just send me what niches you want to run, and I will get you your landing page URLs, and I'm going to upload the text for each of these ads. Okay, I'm going to upload the replay so you can go back through and you can watch this hand in hand if you like while you're creating your ad. It's up to you. If you require any modifications on your landing page, then by all means just send me a personal message right there on Glip. I'll get that taken care of right away. I want you guys to go ahead and let's get these ads out there ASAP. Let's run them for roughly 4 or 5 days. I would say run them through Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, because then you'll be ready for our next meeting. We're going to sit down and we're going to go over your statistics. We're going to go over your results. We're going to show you what to do about them. Make sense? Any questions on that? Awesome. Awesome. Chad, will the meeting time always be Thursday at 1 o'clock? Not necessarily, no. We do kind of change up from time to time. So that was just kind of the time that was chosen for this one when I asked about it. I believe it was it Monday morning? Was that a Sunday or Monday when I asked about what would be the best? But all recordings will indeed be recorded. Absolutely, 100%, because I don't want you guys to miss out on anything. Absolutely. And yeah, I'll be uploading this in Glip today for you guys, okay? Because I want to make sure I get it uploaded ASAP so you guys can get your ads. Let's get them live. Let's start getting some results because I really want to look at them. Oh, let me show you guys. The best way, the best thing in the world that you can do, guys, watch this very closely. When you're in your Facebook Ads Manager, click up here, the top left, see how I got these 3 horizontal lines and it says Ads Manager? Go ahead and click there. I'm going to click on Ads Manager again. I'm going to leave this page. So just click yes. And then let me come up to, oh, wait a minute. That's why. Hold on 1 second. All tools, ad account settings. Okay, we scroll down to, oh, wait a minute, where'd it go? Account roles right here, guys. Add a user. Add me in there. Put my name in there, guys. Put Chad Weber in there. Now this will only work if we're friends on Facebook, so you might have to send me a Facebook friends request first. And then just add me as an ad account admin. The reason to do this is so that I can I can basically see everything. So that way if you run into any challenges or difficulties or say, hey, this happened or that happened, instead of having to describe everything to me verbally, I can actually go in and see it myself and then make recommendations. So just add me as an ad account admin. All right, makes sense? So that way I can see everything. That'll definitely come in handy. Okay, guys. So yeah, that's what I have for today. So I'm going to make sure I get everything uploaded for you folks. If you have any questions before we wrap up, now's the time to ask. Let me see. I think I got to all your questions. If I missed your questions, now's the time to call me out on it and let me know. So I'm just going to pause here for just a little bit. Now keep in mind that video, I did record this, but keep in mind I can't just immediately turn around and give you guys the video. I have to process it first. It has to download first from GoToMeeting, has to send it to me. and then I have to modify it because I send it to me in a format that is not YouTube friendly. So I have to modify it to an MP4. Then I upload it to YouTube, and then once it's processed on YouTube as well, then I can put it into Glip. So you might have to cut me a little slack. I'm not going to be able to do it instantly, but I'll do it as quickly as possible. But it could be as much as an hour to an hour and a half before the video shows up in Glip. If I can get it, if I can get it from GoToWebinar quicker, then I'll upload it quicker. All right, but if any questions come up, guys, you know where to reach me on Glip. I'm really, really excited to see your results on running this ad number 1. All right, awesome, guys. Let's capture some leads. So by next week when we're meeting again, we should have some leads to discuss. We should have some metrics to discuss, so we can actually just start, digging in. Let's follow up on these leads. Let's get some applications. Let's get some stuff running. As we go along, we're going to make this a more automated process. And we're going to make it more sophisticated. But for now, this is dipping your toe in the water to make sure, hey, here's how my market's responding to ads and landing pages that are working pretty much all across the U.S. for others. It allows us to kind of gauge what's good and what's not in your particular marketplace right now. Okay, great. Then I will see you guys very soon. I'll see you in Glip. Let's chat. Let's get this all done. All right, guys. Make it a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye now.